Okay, so it's back to the video diary, and back to sharing my journey. It's a lot going on with me now, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in a good way, a great way. In my life, things are blossoming, blooming, changing. Recently, it's today is January the 14th, and we're 2 weeks into the new year, 2021. And I'm in a relationship, started the year in a relationship. It was kind of sudden, but it was actually from a previous connection that we took a little time and space from each other. And by the time the Christmas came back around, we realigned. I'll say that. So that's another story that, just follow that journey. We'll talk about that journey. Her and I will talk about that more together later. Right now, though, on this journey, we've been meditating. We agreed to meditate together daily, and then by ourselves individually, and that's been really transformative. That's been really transformative for me. I've seen the growth in her as well. For me, the reason I'm coming on now, and I'm like, okay, I really have to share, because what I'm experiencing and what I've been experiencing, I feel like, it's going to really be helpful. It's going to really be helpful for other people to know what's going on. Because I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. So I wanted to talk about it. So in sitting and meditating, one of the things that, has come up, has been coming up it's been uncomfortable for me is in terms of my hips. My hips I've been experiencing a lot of discomfort in my hips. Now, as a trainer, I work with different clients, and I express to them the importance of, hip health and having open hips. And this is something that I know. And I even would always say I need to work more on my hips. However, in this sitting, meditating, it's really, really, really just been the only thing I've been able to really deal with and sitting. But here's what has been coming up. Your body is so strongly connected to your emotional health and your spiritual. It's the psycho-spiritual aspect of your being. Is really expressed through your body, and the different aches and pains and tensions that it's holding. They speak to different emotional areas that need to be worked on, developed, that or that have not been addressed. So when I sit down to meditate and I sit in the position, and I Indian style, my hips hurt. So after a time, my right leg falls asleep, and I've had IT band syndrome on my right leg, for years now. So it's something I haven't worked on enough. I haven't dedicated enough time to, and it's really, man, this process of actually being so accountable for myself, for yourself, you have to forgive yourself, man. When you going through this and you feeling what your body is holding on to, and you realize how you may have been very irresponsible with certain things regarding yourself, there might come a urge to beat yourself up about it, but you really have to be forgiving. You have to be forgiving and loving with yourself, and really come to understand the issues. So in this sitting in Indian style and dealing with the pain of opening my hips up fully, it's been 2 weeks now. And I also I've realized and expressed to my love that I need to go into I've always been one that I realized that going into my body and experiencing my body is actually how I access just different spiritual and emotional aspects of myself. It's how I gain clarity, is by going really inward into my body. And I was explaining to her how, when I lived in Hawaii years ago, when I learned that breathing, I could breathe into whatever part of my body I wanted to breathe into. So I was breathing into different parts of my body and just really feeling the clarity and how good it felt to breathe through my body, like into my legs and into my calves and into my feet. And now when I sit down, I struggle to do that. So the first time, not the first time, but, there's this little creek that she likes to go to and sit at. So she took me there. And the first time she took me there, I felt drawn to this rock in the middle of this stream. And I sat on that rock in Indian style and started meditating. And as I sat there and meditated, I just started crying. I just started crying because I just felt how difficult it was to breathe into those spaces with ease like I used to. And granted, we had meditated before a couple times, but it was the first time it hit me this way. And I definitely felt it in our previous meditations, but not as acutely. I became acutely aware of it sitting on the rock in the middle of the stream, of how much control I didn't have over that anymore. And that clarity of just breathing into my thighs and everything, it was, I couldn't do it. And I cried because the reason I couldn't do it is because there's so much energy stored in my below in my hips and in my leg now, my right leg particularly. There's so much energy, emotion stored there that what happens to emotions when a thing happens, when an event occurs and you feel an emotion, when that emotion arises, if you don't deal with that emotion right then and there, if you don't acknowledge it, and maybe you don't have time to acknowledge it in that moment, you can set it to the side for a minute. Not saying you have to go berserk. If that emotion ultimately is not acknowledged and processed, though, within a reasonable amount of time, you lose contact with the true reason you even felt that way. However, you're stuck with that emotion. That emotion gets tucked somewhere. So it's just like if you think about having an argument with, your lover or your spouse or a friend or anything. Sometimes, if they do something to make you mad, you don't even say anything about it, or you do, and by the time y'all start talking about it, you done forgot what they did to make you mad. But the emotion, you remember that. You remember what you felt, but you don't always remember why you felt it. So when that becomes a pattern in a person, which it had become a pattern with me, that is something that I was predisposed to do. It's just a way that I trained myself from a young age to deal with emotion. My mind trained itself to deal with, different emotions, just going to repress them. So suppress them, put them somewhere else. So not deal with this now. So over time, all of that builds up, and that takes a toll on your body. So when we go into our body, when we sit with our body, when we feel discomfort, that is a signal to us, to look at something. So I said the hips are the biggest joint, the largest joint in the body, and so as I'm sitting and I'm feeling different things come up and emotions, just I can't sit and not cry, well, I can sit and not cry. However, these meditations they've been causing me to purge. And it's been a beautiful thing. It's been great. I've been crying. It's not like I've been crying over anything in particular. I really am just releasing emotions that are stored in my lower body. And that's the reason that I'm sharing this, is because I know that a lot of us have no idea about this. We're not even aware that our body is storing our emotions. And sometimes we don't even know what emotions we are not dealing with. But a great way to find out, a great way to get in contact with those emotions, a great way to discover those emotions is through your physical body. Because sometimes our mental, the psychological aspect can lose touch with those emotions. The psychological aspect can lose memory of those emotions, for our protection, for whatever reason. However, the body is still holding on to that energy. So by going into our body, breathing into tension and really devoting ourselves, because I can't just sit down one day and say, it's done. This is years. This is years of buildup in my lower body, and I feel it. And I'm purging and I'm clearing space. And it feels so many different types of ways. And now I have one goal, and that's to be able to sit in the lotus position comfortably. Because I can sit in meditation, no problem. My mind and body and my spirit can go into a space of tranquility and peace and oneness with my breath. That breath is taking me on a journey inward. And that breath will take you on a journey inward into your physical being, if you allow it to. And that journey into your physical being is going to reveal your spiritual and emotional self to you at a deeper level. And that's what I'm experiencing. So having said that, now acknowledging that my hips are holding, I looked into the hips. I just got off of Google. I'm going to do some more research about it. I'm going to look into some books about it, the spiritual connections. Because if you understand things like I've heard of things like acupuncture, acupressure, that's directly dealing with that science, that ancient science of the body's connection to your psycho-spiritual well-being. So, and having different pressure points in different areas on your body that correspond to different emotions, to different, yeah. And so it gets really deep. So now I'm very devoted to opening my hips up, because it's not about opening my hips up just, it's not something so I can dance better or twerk or anything. It's like, or shake my butt, my ass or anything. I am opening my hips to free myself. Every time I sit down and meditate and I feel the pain, I also feel a release. So I'm sharing this because I know that sitting down can be very uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable, but I challenge you to choose love. Choose love, and that you love yourself enough to sit and breathe through the discomfort. If you need to cry, allow the tears to flow. You are releasing things that you have been holding on to for God knows how long. And I know that in me sharing this will resonate somewhere, some way with someone, and it'll make a difference. It's making a difference with me. And at this point, I'm going to continue to share. I have a video that I posted where I'm using self-myofascial release tools, something that I adapted in training, the massage balls, the foam roll, other self-massage assisting tools, but they help you to release the tension that's built up in your myofascial tissue. That's the tissue that covers your entire body. So those are tools that I'm using. I posted a video on YouTube, and it's over an hour long, I believe, of me just using those and stretching and really going into that. So I'm going to be doing those. They'll be sped up. I'll add to those, as I go along. But right now, I just really feel compelled to share the journey. I'll learn more about how exactly I'm going to share it. But just in this, speaking with you directly, I can do that. I can record my meditations. I can record me stretching and show you the growth and the progress. Because now you'll see the range of motion in my hips, where it is now and where it's going to be. You'll see the growth there. And also, I fully expect to see a shift in more ways than just physical and just, being able to do a split or whatever, or being able to sit lotus style. I expect a full change in my life. I expect to see it on the outer world as well. The world outside of myself is going to come into alignment with my inner being as I become more in touch with myself, more in alignment with my divinity, my divine purpose, more in line with my healing. Literally, when I said divinity, divine purpose, when I said that, it was at 13:33. Check the timestamp. That's the moment that I said that and looked up at the clock. It's all divine alignment. So I expect to see it within and without, as within, so without, and I want to share that. So here I am, here we are, and I encourage you. I'm going to end this by saying, sit, have a seat, sit with it, breathe into it, listen to the seventh sense. I kid you not, that album, I created it. I'm not just saying it because I created it. It is a lifestyle. It is a mentality, a mindset, something to live by. I created it, and it's meant so much to me. It's really meant more to me than any of the other music I created. And I don't say that lightly because I love my music. This project, though, it really is transformative. Life is good. Just breathe. The Cure. I Am. Choose Love. I listen to that, and it does something. And I've had other people tell me. So, if you need just, and music is, the power of music is so underrated and underestimated and misunderstood. And that's why I make the music that I make. I know the power of it, And I want you to sit with it and experience that power of the 432 hertz, of the positivity, of the tone, of the melodies. I want you to just fall into that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an escape and a journey into you. Sometimes we need that. So God bless you. God bless you. God bless you on your journey, on your path, whoever you praise and whoever you may pray to. Thank you. In the name of Yeshua, I praise Yahweh. God bless you.